Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Let us look into this poem, dear students, today. Alfred Lord Tennyson belonged to the Victorian age. He was a poet laureate. He has won great recognition for his poems. Today we are dealing with Ulysses, which was written shortly after Hallam's death. The need of moving forward is there, inherent in us human beings. No matter what tragedies overcome us, what obstacles we face, we have to move forward. And that is what the poem tells us. The harshness of life, the trials and tribulations of life are no doubt there. We do encounter them all the time. Yet, we have to move on. The source of Ulysses, perhaps, is taken from the Odyssey, where the hero undertakes a dangerous voyage. He is old in years but young in spirit, and all he wants to do is to keep on traveling, to follow knowledge like a sinking star, beyond the utmost bound of human thought. Ulysses and his sailors wished to travel. They were obsessed with the wanderlust, and they wanted to traverse across the world. Ulysses, therefore, delegates the administration of his kingdom, of the kingdom of Ithaca, to his only son Telemachus, whom he feels is better equipped to rule. Therefore, Telemachus is given the responsibility of governing the kingdom. Ulysses feels he is not well equipped to deal with a savage race that hoard and sleep and know not him. Therefore, he wishes to travel. I will drink life to the lees, he says. He is obsessed with the wanderlust. He is an overreacher, he is ambitious, and many critics have said that also he is irresponsible. Yet, he remains a heroic figure, a figure of gigantic proportions. And through his travels, he discovers the earth. He encounters several people from different manners, climates, and he gathers rich experience. His exposure is tremendous. There are so many battles which have been fought. The Trojan War, for instance. Also, Ulysses hopes, along with his comrades, that he may reach the isles. He may perish in the ocean, because nobody knows what awaits us. Yet, he ventures forward, darts forward with undaunted courage and grit. It is his determination which makes him fascinating. Therefore, we study Ulysses as a picture in bravery, in valor, in courage. Ulysses says he has drunk delight of battle with his peers. He has achieved many victories, he has won recognition and laurels, and he is on cloud 9 virtually. He wishes to go on sailing till the end of his life, till death claims him and his comrades. His aim is not to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, but his aim is to go on and on exploring the ocean, exploring the big wide world. Therefore, he, in a lukewarm manner, expresses his wish that his son Telemachus rule his kingdom while he is away on an adventure. He and his comrades have withstood the rough weather. They have endured several hardships, yet they are prepared to set sail once again. The ocean liner beckons him. He feels like a young schoolboy embarking on an adventure. The spirit of Ulysses is important. Towards the end of the poem, there are few lines which are very regular, marked lines which express his emphasis on adventure. He wishes to go on exploring, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. The key line is not to yield, not to give up despite age. Age, after all, is an attitude of the mind. We are as old as we feel. Ulysses felt he was young. Also, there is another version, a Homeric version, which tells us that Ulysses perished in the seas. He was too presumptuous. But that is what the critics say. To the average reader, to the average spectator, Ulysses is indeed a heroic figure of great endurance, fortitude, and strength. Alfred Lord Tennyson has been known as the poet of the landscape. He was very good at depicting the countryside, and the reflections are vigorous and vivid. Temperamentally, Tennyson was more inclined to gloomier visions of life. He thought the world was a terrible place, and his vision was pessimistic. That is what most of the critics say. Also, the death of his friend Arthur Hallam affected him very deeply. They had shared a great bond, and Tennyson could not overcome the loss for a long time. Tennyson had read a great deal of Milton, and serious scholastic learning was his forte. He was actually inconsolable when it came to Hallam's death, and Hallam was the foremost among his poetic friends who encouraged him in his literary pursuits. The foundation of Tennyson's immense knowledge of English, poetry, and mastery of meter were laid in his boyhood. He read and often learnt by heart any poetry he could lay his hands upon. Milton was his greatest influence. Now, dear friends, we come to the main poem. Here, I will explain the poem to you stanza by stanza, and we will look into the deeper meanings. Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Matched with an aged wife, I meet and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. In the very beginning itself, Ulysses, the protagonist, tells us that he is inclined towards travel. He wishes to traverse across the seas. He wants to explore the ocean along with his comrades. All of them have grown old, yet his mental abilities are fit. And Ulysses wants to delegate the responsibility of ruling the kingdom of Ithaca to his only son Telemachus, whom he feels is better equipped to rule. Now we move on to the next stanza. I cannot rest from travel, I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone, on shore and when, through scudding drifts, the rainy Hades wecks the dim sea. I am become a name, for always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honoured of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. Now comes the explanation of the second stanza. It is evident from the lines mentioned here that Ulysses does not want to rest from travel. He wants to go on and drink life to the lees. He wants to experience every little joy that is there upon the ocean, every little thrill and adventure that beckons him. The ocean is his second home. He does not want to stay put in Ithaca and get bored. For him, being stagnant in Ithaca means death, and staying stagnant means actually damnation. Ulysses wishes to explore further and cross the dim sea. He encounters the rough weather along with his sailors, and he comes across cities of men and manners. He loves to travel. He loves to encounter people of all races and religions. They mean a lot to him, and his aim is to go on traveling as long as he's alive. His aim is to go on traveling as long as he's alive. He has experienced great trials and tribulations on his voyages. He has drunk delight of battle with his peers. He has had experiences which are contrary, good and bad, but that is what he is made up of. The wanderlust is an obsession with him. He has to fulfill that at any cost. I am a part of all that I have met, yet all experience is an arch wherethrough gleams that untravelled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unperished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. Life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me little remains. But every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things, and vile it were for some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit, yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. In the 3rd stanza, again, Ulysses' wish is reiterated. He wants to explore the untravelled world beyond, and he is dynamic, the opposite of stagnant. There is no stagnation in the life of Ulysses. He does not want to rust unburnished. He does not want to waste his life on the island of Ithaca. He does not want to just breathe, he wants to live. And to him, living means travel. Travel and adventure. Even if there were innumerable lives, Ulysses would have done the same. He would not have paused. For him, pausing is akin to death. Therefore, Ulysses wants to explore new things, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star, that is his main goal. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labour, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centred in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail, in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods when I am gone. He works his work, I mine. The explanation of this stanza goes thus. Ulysses again tells us that his urge to travel has seized him immeasurably. He cannot rest now. He has to move. So therefore, he delegates the responsibility of the kingdom to his only son Telemachus, who is temperamentally docile and mild. He is fit to rule the kingdom of savages maybe. The people of Ithaca were quite crude. They were not very civilized. Ulysses was not the proper one for them. He feels he is cut out for greater things, for adventure, and his aim is to meet the great heroes. And he feels Telemachus will definitely fulfill his obligations wonderfully. He will also suitably pay obeisance to his household gods. And Ulysses wishes to set sail. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail, there gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads, you and I are old. Old age hath yet his honour and his toil, death closes all, but something ere the end, some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with the gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks, the long day wanes, the slow moon climbs the deep. Ulysses tells us that the ocean liner is about to set sail. The sailors are eagerly waiting for their adventure. The dark, gloomy seas beckon them, and the mariners, who are old in age but young in spirit, are yearning for travel. Therefore, they are prepared to face the thunder and the sunshine, and in a noble manner they may encounter danger, yet they do not mind courting danger. They know that death will close all. Death is the only finality, yet something noble has to be accomplished before they die. Therefore, all the more their struggle and endeavour is to take up adventure after adventure. Slowly, the weather seems to change. It is Night. It is nightfall. The moon is waning, and the ocean is ready to embrace the sailors. The deep moans around with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in the old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. We are not now that strength which in the old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Ulysses tells the readers again that he is ready to embark on his new adventure. Maybe this will be his last adventure. Maybe he and his comrades will perish in the ocean. The ocean is dangerous. It is beckoning, yet dangerous. Maybe the gulfs will wash them down. Maybe they will meet the hero of their dreams, Achilles. Maybe they will not. Yet Ulysses and his friends, with great courage, endurance, and fortitude, are ready to face the obstacles that they may encounter. They are realistic, yet adventurous, and something is driving them further. A driving force makes them want to travel. Now let us delve deep into the thematic content of the poem Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Ulysses is a heroic figure, a figure of great dimensions, gigantic proportions. He is a man obsessed with travel. Age has definitely left its impact upon him, yet he is young in spirit, yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star. He wishes to traverse across the world along with his mariner friends. They both have shared great delights in battle. They have won victories. They have been triumphant. They also have faced defeat. They are prepared for the worst. Ulysses is realistic. Many of the critics have said that he is an escapist, that he does not want to stick to his kingdom and govern as he should. But that is not so. Ulysses loves adventure, loves to travel, and he feels his mental attitude is such that he is better equipped to travel rather than deal with a savage race in the land of Ithaca. He does not believe in a static life. To rust unburnished, not to shine in use, that is not his style. He only wishes to traverse and to go on exploring the world. No doubt his ambitions are big, but then the willpower and the resolution that he and his comrades have will surely fetch them wonders. Everything is an attitude of the mind, and Ulysses is strong and heroic. The desire to travel is such a deep obsession with him, a fixation, so to say, that he cannot rest. The yearning goes on in his heart and mind and soul. His spirit is full of the struggle of life. He wishes to endure things. He does not mind setting sail on the rough ocean with his comrades. His comrades too have become old, but that does not matter at all to Ulysses. He only wants to forge ahead. His deep desire is to meet Achilles, the great hero. In many of the legends, we hear about Achilles, who was so powerful, who was so brave and noble. Ulysses wants to be perfect, like Achilles. Probably he wants to imitate the gods, because only gods can be perfect, not human beings. Ulysses wants a life of heroic struggle, a life of perfection. For him, sailing is almost like the attainment of perfection. Ulysses wishes to set sail with his comrades, and he willingly does so. Nobody can stop him. He cannot be in chains. He is a free man. The poem is filled with a certain spirit of restlessness. The sources of the poem have been taken from Dante's Inferno and Homer's Odyssey. Both these poems stress about the character of Ulysses. What kind of a man was he? What exactly did he want? He knew that life was harsh and bitter. He knew that life was difficult. It was a struggle. Yet nothing could hold him back. His spirit of restlessness had to reach its peak and pinnacle of glory. He could only do that with his travels. Therefore, he knew exactly what he wanted. He had clear priorities. Maybe critics have denied him certain things. Critics have said that he was an escapist, which he certainly was not. He was actually an active man, probably a hyperactive man, who despite his age wanted to explore further and further. There were no pauses for him. There was only dynamism in his mind and moving forward. So if we look at the poem positively, if we look at the attitude of Ulysses positively, we surely learn about his character. The characteristics which are clear in him are those of strength, indomitable courage, great resilience, and patience. In order to accomplish great tasks, a human being needs patience. Patience to undergo trials and tribulations. Life is not going to be a bed of roses. Ulysses knew that, and despite that, he wanted to go ahead. So in this dramatic monologue, his feelings are expressed, and the speaker, in the form of Ulysses, gives vent to his feelings. Therefore, it is best for us to remember what kind of a character Ulysses was. In the poem Ulysses, the protagonist passes through certain specific moods. Initially, he rejects the barren life in Ithaca. He calms himself down, then moves forward. He recalls his heroic past, and that itself is a great motivating factor for him. And then, after much perusal, after much determination and forethought, he realizes that he should do what he desires. Well, dear students, let us look at these lines. "'Tis not too late to seek a newer world." Ulysses is full of passion, full of desire, full of yearning to explore the ocean, to explore the universe. The ocean is vast, limitless, unending. The universe is also large, expansive, vast. Ulysses and his friends wish to go on exploring the universe as long as there is breath in their body. As long as they are alive, they do not want to rust at all. Their only aim is to move forward. The movement is one of dynamism, not stagnation. And this, dear friends, is the main theme of the poem. I hope you have enjoyed reading the poem. You have enjoyed understanding the poem, and you have understood the main concepts behind the poem. After all, poetry is to be enjoyed. No matter, you will write exams and get your marks, but enjoy the poem.